Welcome back. Today I want to talk about 5 fatal mistakes that young leaders often make. The first one is disrespecting your boss in front of your peers or your subordinates. Now, I've talked about this one before, but it's such a common error that people make, and the consequences are so catastrophic. I want to mention it again. You see, if you disrespect your boss in front of your subordinates, you've just taught them that it's okay for them to disrespect their boss. And that's you. Once you do that, they can begin to choose what of you say is important to them or not. They can mock you behind your back. You've given them license to do what they want, not what you're saying. If you disrespect your boss, you're opening up a really ugly can of worms. The second consequence of disrespecting your boss is that now they're getting 2 messages. Maybe one from your boss, maybe one from your peers, and one from you. And how do organizations succeed if people are getting 2 or 3 messages? It's tough enough to move an organization forward with one clear, consistent message, let alone 2 or 3. Never disrespect your boss or your peers in front of your subordinates. Fatal flaw number 2 is hiring someone you can't fire. Now, this one doesn't happen a whole lot, but when it happens, it's often fatal. You see, with the best of intentions, you hire a long-term family friend, a brother or sister-in-law, a daughter or son-in-law. You bring them to the organization and everyone thinks that it's a great solution. But like all employees, at some time their performance is going to drop. And at some point, they're going to need some redirection or some discipline. Now, when you provide that redirection or discipline, if they don't take it well, what are you going to do then? You've handed the power over to them. And they'll know that. I've seen young leaders spend a disproportionate amount of their time trying to work around a person that they can't fire. Look, the rule is really easy. If you can't fire them, don't hire them. Save yourself the headache. The third fatal mistake that I see young leaders make is demonstrating or showing a I don't give a shit attitude in meetings. We've all seen it. You have someone sitting in the corner and they're playing on their phone or they have their arms crossed. They got the look of displeasure on their face, just like a 14-year-old has when getting in trouble from their parents. They speak without words. They speak remarkably loudly to everyone in the room that they don't want to be there. And they're only there because they have to be there. Well, like the first fatal flaw, you've just taught your employees that it's okay to behave like that. And when you're up front in a meeting with them, well, they can choose to play on their phone or cross their arms or send you the message that they don't want to be there. If you're being paid to be in a meeting, be in the meeting. Sit up, be prepared to take notes, and participate as appropriate. The remarkable thing about that, when you do that, is that you get the respect of everyone else in the room. You automatically become a leader in everyone else's eyes when you do that. And we've all been in meetings that we don't want to be in. We've all been in meetings that have gone on way too long. But the leaders move it forward, participate, and contribute. Fatal flaw number 4 is being unable to separate friendship from leadership. And almost every young leader has gone through a form of this. You see, the young leader got promoted because they understand the department the best. They understand the standards, the productivity goals, what's required to act safe. And they were probably the best at it. And now they're being paid to uphold their standards. The problem is that all their buddies in the department, all the new leaders' friends, are now thinking, wow, this is great. Our buddy is the lead. Maybe he's going to cut us a little slack. Maybe I can come in a little bit late. Maybe I can do 90% of the job instead of 100% of the job. Maybe he's not going to call me out for not following all the safety protocols. Well, those are friends trying to take advantage of you. And you can't let that happen. You are being remunerated and rewarded for elevating the whole department, not letting it fall back. When you're all on the clock, you need to be a leader. And you need to communicate clearly to your friends that you're going to maintain the standards of the department. Or even better yet, engage their hearts and minds to make things even better. And ultimately, your friends will understand that and give you the respect for that. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to lose them as friends. Invite them over for the game. Go fishing with them. Go hunting with them. Do whatever you do outside of work with your friends like you've always done before. That's okay. But when you're all on the clock, it's time to be a leader. And then fatal flaw number 5 is accepting an incomplete task. You see, you were probably promoted because you did things complete and properly and expect things to be done well. And the leaders that promoted you are hoping that you're going to pass those standards on to all those around you. Well, it's really easy for a young leader to see an incomplete job, something that's done poorly, and go in there and fix it for the employee. Well, ultimately, the employee is thinking, wow, I don't have to do the job complete because my boss will finish it for me. And when they'll start slacking on more and more things, in fact, their peers will start slacking on more and more things as well. Pretty soon, you're going to be trying to do all the work of the whole department. And that's going to lead to failure. I remember years ago when I was working in a sawmill, there was a log that got jammed into some machine. And the leader of the department was working like crazy to get the log out. You could see the sweat dropping off his brow. But in the picture, you could also see 4 or 5 of his subordinates, of his employees, watching him work hard. I framed that picture for him, and he put it on the wall as a reminder. It's really easy to fall into that trap. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't ever go and help someone. You can model great behavior. You can provide extra resources to someone. You might have to redirect or do any number of things to bring someone up. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about someone that's failing to do their job properly and that you're completing the job for them. Never finish work. Never finish incomplete work of one of your employees. It's just going to lead to failure in the long run. So anyway, these are 5 fatal mistakes that I often see young leaders make. But ultimately, the goal is to get people to want to work, not have to work. And when your employees want to work for you, that's how you really elevate an organization. If you want to learn a little bit more, please click the link below. Thank you.